All righty, good afternoon, good evening, everybody. It's David Schmidt, and welcome to our product training webinar today. I hope that you are all doing great. And as we start off the webinar this evening, I want to take this opportunity to thank and congratulate all of you on an amazing February. If you haven't seen the word, it was our highest sales month in the history of the company so far. Over $10 million in sales for the month of February. Absolutely incredible. And to top it all off, we are starting off March rather, with a bang. And today, biggest commission week in the history of the company. And today we paid over $2.3 million in commissions. So we are so super excited about that and extraordinarily grateful to all of our leaders and members for making this possible. So thank you very much. We're having extraordinary growth all across the globe. We've hit momentum here in the United States, in Japan, in Taiwan, Germany. It's just absolutely been incredible. We have new countries opening this year, more expansion, and more great things ahead that you'll have to wait and see. So definitely want to use this opportunity to thank all of our leaders and members for making this success possible. And we have a meeting, speaking of, this month coming up in Germany. We're going to be in a town outside of Frankfurt called Darmstadt, Germany. We've got over 400 people there in attendance, and it's going to be awesome. So looking forward to that. So today on our product training, we are going to be talking about the health of the brain and some other surprises that I want to save for you. But let's start off with an interesting thought. So one of the things that people love about LifeWave and our products is that they get to experience immediate effects. And this is something very unusual in our industry, and that's one of the reasons why we've been in business now more than 15 years. People get to experience, for example, pain relief immediately with our products. So we know with X39 that it activates stem cells in the body. Many people can begin to feel this working the very first 24 hours, the first 7 days. And as they use the product the first month, they're getting great results. So the question then is, well, what happens if I continue to use X39 for a period of 6 months and for a period of a year? Well, we've completed a clinical study where we had people using X39 for 6 months and found extraordinary results. But I think one thing that I'd share with you is this testimonial. Let me just take this off here. Is this testimonial that many of you have seen, but if you haven't seen it, it's extraordinary. And I did want to start out by showing all of you because it really illustrates this point. This is a member that we have in Australia. Her name is Mandy. And I want to do a quick shout out and many thanks to Mandy for sharing these great before-after photos. But here we can see day one is at baseline, and we recommend that all of you take a photograph at baseline and make a record of what your body is experiencing before you use any of our products. And you can see after only 6 weeks, the extraordinary difference in the reduction in the appearance of lines and wrinkles. So of course, Mandy was really excited about those results, continued to use X39, and if you look at day 355 compared to day 1, the result is absolutely amazing. So many congratulations to Mandy on improving her health with X39, and again, many thanks to her for sharing these incredible before-after photos. So it really does bring up the question, well, if X39 is doing this on the outside, this is even what Mandy said in her testimonial, imagine what's going on the inside of the body. And that's what we're going to be talking about today. We have 8 clinical studies that we've completed on X39 alone, and we have other clinical studies that we've already started now where we're researching some of these topics, and we want to learn more about what X39 is doing to benefit your health so we can make those claims based on good science. So what we're going to be taking a look at today is the health of the brain. Now, as people age, some of the things that they're very concerned of and even scared of is the loss in strength, the loss in stamina, and the loss in brain function. Of course, we know this is referred to as age-related cognitive decline, meaning as people get over the age of 60, we're accustomed to thinking that people are going to suffer a decrease in their long-term and short-term memory. They're not going to think as clearly or as quickly, and even an individual's reaction time can slow down as they age. So question is, what do we do to prevent this? Or if someone's already over the age of 50 or 60, is there anything that we can do to reverse this? And the exciting news is that even if you're over the age of 60 or even over 70, it's not too late. In fact, we've got clinical data that shows even if you're over the age of 70, you can restore the healthy function of your brain and recover your memory, your focus, and the sharpness that you had when you were younger. So let's go ahead and dig into this in a little bit more detail. I think you're really, really going to enjoy it. And if you're not using any of these products, you can start today and start getting the benefits. So let's dig into this. So first thing is we are a science-based company, and we have over 80 clinical studies that we've done to support the efficacy and the safety of our products. And you can find this information at the science section of the website. Simply go to products, go down to science, and you'll be able to get to this information. Now, if you scroll down, you're going to start to see information on the published studies. And we have a number of clinical studies that are out for publishing right now. So you're not going to find all of the X39 studies up on our website. But after they've been published, we will post those. We also have a summary of some of the clinical findings that we've gotten on X39, courtesy of Dr. Melinda Connor, who's done 3 clinical studies now on X39, and we'll be looking forward to sharing that with you shortly. Dr. Connor and her daughter, Dr. Caitlin Connor, did an outstanding job presenting new clinical research on X39 at our recent conference in Las Vegas. But actually, where I'd like to start with this today is with the carnosine patch. And there's good reason for this. Now, I'll take you back a little bit to 2011, and we're not going to spend a lot of time talking about this today because I've actually covered this subject in a prior webinar. But it is great to take a look at this just from the point of view of reference. So we came out with the carnosine patch, and carnosine is an antioxidant, and it's stored in the skeletal muscle, the heart, and the brain. And Dr. Tom and Helen Budzinski wanted to take a look at the cognitive effects of carnosine. So they did this study, and it was with people over the age of 60. And basically what we wanted to find out is that as people begin to experience a decline in their brain function as they age, is there anything that we can do to reverse this? And can we do this by elevating the amount of carnosine in the brain? And fortunately, the answer to that was yes. After only 30 days of using the carnosine patch, people experienced a broad spectrum of benefits, meaning an improvement in their memory, improvement in their focus, even an improvement in the speed at which their brain processes information and reaction time. So all measures of brain function improved with carnosine. And this is really important because now it means in addition to X39, you have options for how you could improve your brain function. Even the question is, well, if I'm using X39 and carnosine together, will I get even better benefits from those two? That's something that we're currently exploring in a clinical study. But anyway, you can download this study at your convenience from our website, and you can read about it. But basically it says, after 30 days of using the carnosine patch, people over the age of 60 can see a significant improvement in the function of their brain. So we'll skip ahead here, and we're going to take a look at this study performed by Dr. Gaetan Chevalier. Now again, Dr. Chevalier was kind enough to speak at our conference in Las Vegas, and he is an extraordinarily impressive individual. Prior to running the laboratory where he is at now, he got his formal education as a physicist, and he was at UCLA doing research into nuclear fusion. And his specialty is laser spectroscopy. Now, this actually makes him ideally suited for doing research on LifeWave, because one of the studies that we had done with Dr. Chevalier was looking at light emission from the body. In other words, as we age, the way that the body emits light begins to change, and we saw anti-aging effects with our energy patches using a special technology called a photomultiplier tube to actually measure how the energy patches improve light emission from the body. So we do in fact get an anti-aging effect from using the energy patches. Well, anyway, Dr. Chevalier, when he found out about X39, he was extraordinarily interested in this, and he wanted to use a new technology in mapping the brain to see what effects X39 might have. And the results were not only surprising, but extraordinarily dramatic. Now, this is a new type of EEG equipment. And actually, if you were to see this equipment, what it would look like is a helmet that fits around the head. There's electrodes that are attached to it. And with this equipment, you can measure what's going on in different regions of the brain. Now, this is really important because as we age, the ability of different regions of the brain to communicate with one another begins to diminish. This is referred to as coherence. And it's a phenomena that we see occur throughout the body, not just in the brain, but coherence in communication between the organs, coherence in information transmission within the cell and outside of the cell. This is called signal induction and signal transduction. But it simply means that as we age, the ability of the cell to make energy declines, the ability of the cell to communicate with its environment declines. But what if we had a technology where we could change all of that, where we could restore energy and we could restore communication? We would get an incredible array of benefits. So the only one that we're going to talk about right now is on the benefits to the brain. So obviously it's important, as we age, we want to be as sharp as we were when we were younger. All right, there's of course other physical benefits to X39, but we'll just focus in on this. Okay, a couple things about this study. This was a pilot study with 12 people. We reached statistical significance, which is phenomenal. And each person, all 12, had dramatic changes in the function of their brain. So Dr. Chevalier was so excited about this, and we were so excited about it, that we are now doing a 50-person study, repeating this, and that study is going to be published. But let's go ahead and take a look at some of the results so we can see the impact of using X39 for only 3 weeks. So we're going to scroll down here. And again, this study is on the website, so you can download this and read it at your convenience. Now, these red areas are going to indicate areas of the brain that are hyperactive. This could be a normal state for someone, or it could be someone that's drinking a lot of coffee or other stimulants. Could indicate also health or medical conditions. And session 1 is the baseline, meaning they have not used X39 yet. And session 2 is after 3 weeks of using X39. And session 3 is after 6 weeks of using X39. And you don't have to be a scientist to see that there is a dramatic shift in the function of the brain between the baseline and after 3 weeks of use, and of course after 6 weeks of use. So what would this mean in real life? Meaning that if you're using X39 and your brain is undergoing this kind of improvement, what would kind of benefit would you expect? Well, there's actually a lot of benefits. First, your short-term and your long-term memory are going to improve. Your reaction time is going to improve. There's a leader that we've just gotten into the company, and he plays a sport called pickleball. And he's over the age of 60, and he is absolutely blown away at the benefits that he's gotten from X39. And one of the things that he said is that his reaction time from playing this sport is improving. And so now we know scientifically exactly why that's happening. When people wake up in the morning, you may notice that your thinking is much clearer when you wake up. Very often people wake up and they're in a fog. Well, imagine now, being able to wake up and you're mentally alert. This is a benefit that we can see from improved cognitive function. Now, the other thing that's so important to point out here is that this study was done on a woman that's 77 years old. Now, normally we would say that a person that's 77 would have little to no stem cell activity in their body. So how is this possible? Well, of course, X39 is elevating copper peptide. Copper peptide helps the body create new stem cells and also resets those cells to a young, healthy state. So even if you're over the age of 60 or over the age of 70, you'll still be able to benefit from activating your stem cells, and that's extraordinarily exciting. Now, let's take a look at another case here, and then we're going to go ahead and go to some questions. Now, this also is a woman, 67 years old, and you can see here that her brain is in an extraordinarily hyperactive state. This could also represent a nervous condition. It's a waking beta state in terms of brainwave frequency, maybe even higher. But in any case, you could see what happens between when she was not using X39 and the dramatic shifts in brain activity from 3 weeks and 6 weeks of use. So this is absolutely extraordinary. And again, when you read about this a little more, she's going to make some comments about how she was feeling better. She was able to perceive these shifts. So very dramatic changes, very dramatic improvements from very short-term use of X39. So again, when we're looking at this extraordinary before-after picture, we can say, okay, we're going to be getting results after 3 weeks, 6 weeks, but then just imagine if the product can give you these benefits after only 3 to 6 weeks, imagine what being on X39 for a year will do. And we're going to look forward to releasing that clinical data in the future. I have to say that when we completed our 6-month study in December, we were working with a medical doctor, by the way, who's very prominent. When we got those results back, I nearly fell out of my chair with excitement because the results were so extraordinary. And there it was in black and white after having done blood tests. So we'll share that when we're ready. But in any case, let's go ahead and go to some questions and see what you all got. Okay, someone is saying David looks younger. Well, I don't know what you're comparing that to, but I'm going to say thank you for that. That's very kind of you to say. Oh, do the patches still work when the backing is still in place? If the patches were in a pocket, okay, would they be using up their energy? The answer is yes. We don't recommend that you put the patches on your body when you're not using them. So don't take a sleeve of patches and put them in your pocket. They will affect your body. And the reason for this is that your body emits infrared light, and infrared light travels quite a distance, several feet off of the body. This will come in contact with the patches and will in fact activate them. So don't store the patches on your body. All right, next question. So this is a member that's saying that she feels the sky is the limit with continued use of X39. And thank you. We're all very excited about it as well. And the question is whether or not X39 can help protect us from things like EMF. Well, that's really interesting. First, I would say we don't have a clinical study on this, but there is some information that we can turn to on copper peptide, and it's very, very exciting. There's data and clinical studies on copper peptide to show that it does help us to protect us from radiation. Now, we haven't tested X39 this way, so we're not making this claim. But if you just do a Google search and when you want to look up radiation and copper peptide, you may find this study. Now, anecdotally, we had our cruise in November in the Bahamas, and I can tell you for myself, I am German, Italian, and Irish, and my skin seems to be all Irish because my entire life I have burned very, very easily. But since using X39, since it came out, I no longer burn when I go out in the sun. I even did an experiment, took a little bit of a risk with this, but I went out in the hot Bahama sun without a shirt and walked around that way for several hours and never got a sunburn. And I was unbelievably excited about that because of some of the pain that sunburns have caused me over the years. So that's, of course, purely anecdotal, but again, there is a scientific study showing that copper peptide protects the body from radiation. So it's entirely possible that X39 could help protect people from EMF, but we don't know for sure. Okay, your new study results showed X39 increased metabolism. Would it still be possible or feasible to use it on cancer patients? Okay, so when anyone has a serious health condition like cancer, we would recommend that they not use the patches unless they get permission from their healthcare practitioner, such as a medical doctor. I'm not a medical doctor, and we don't want to be in the position of diagnosing or attempting to treat things with our products. So if you wanted to use X39, you would have to get permission from your doctor about that. Now, what I will say is there's some confusion about this that we should clear up. And for those of you on the line today that are healthcare practitioners, perhaps this is going to help. So we could go to a place like Stanford University, and they have a definition that is agreed upon in the scientific community as far as the origin of cancer. So first, what happens in the body is you introduce some type of cancer-causing substance. Let's say it's nicotine or a pesticide. You introduce this cancer-causing substance into the body, and it causes a change in a healthy stem cell, and that stem cell then changes into a cancer cell. And then, of course, if the immune system is weak, this can proliferate and create a tumor and then later become worse. Also, Otto Warburg, who was a Nobel Prize winner and nominated for a Nobel Prize 47 times, discovered that cancer exists in an oxygen-deprived environment. So people that have cancer, the bottom line is they should be using some type of oxygen therapy. Well, in any case, cancer cells do in fact have abnormal metabolism, but this occurs for, let's say, we boil this down into something simplistic because it's complicated. It happens in an environment which has some type of cancer-causing substance, so we need to detoxify, and it also happens in an environment that's depleted of oxygen, so we need to oxygenate the body. So it's very obvious then that elevating a naturally occurring peptide like copper peptide should not have any influence, negative influence on cancer at all. But that's not for us to decide, that's for a doctor to decide. But I think the scientific literature would support that opinion. Will this webinar be available in replay? Yes, it will. We have a YouTube channel, and you can go to our homepage, go to the footer, click on the YouTube button, and you'll be taken to our YouTube channel. Usually it takes just a couple of days to get that posted. Okay, I have a question on silent nights for people who work at night. Will that still assist them with sleep during the day? Yeah, you know, we have never done a study on this, and you know, there are concerns about people that work at night relative to their circadian rhythms, but you would have to say that if a person is working at night and then they want to use silent nights during the day to get the best use out of it and to generate the most melatonin, they need to sleep in a room that's deprived of light. So melatonin is a light activated peptide, so to speak. In other words, it's produced in the pineal gland in the absence of light. So to get the best effect, you still have to be in a room that's as dark as possible. And I'd recommend that if you're going to use silent nights. Okay, here's a question. Where do I put X39 for my eyelid dropping? I'm putting X39 on the back of the neck for 3 months, but it's not working for my eyes. Okay, so first, what we found in our studies is that it doesn't really matter where you apply X39, it's going to work anywhere. Now, we don't have any studies on a drooping eyelid, so I can't tell you what's going on there. What I could say is look at your diet and see where there's some things we could improve. In other words, are you getting enough protein? Are you getting enough healthy fats? I might recommend a copper supplement, 2.5 milligrams of copper glycinate, or 2 milligrams of a chelated copper. Very often, if people aren't experiencing a dramatic result with X39, it's because they may not be getting enough copper in their diet, which would not be unusual. And copper supplements are very, very inexpensive. So I'd recommend that you try that. But keep in mind, we don't have any clinical studies on the use of X39 the way that you're using them. You could try the carnosine patch as well. Carnosine patch is shown to improve muscle strength. That might be something worth trying. And if you try it for 30 days, you don't see an effect, you could certainly return that and get a refund. Okay, I've read about a few things that can help X39 become more effective. Drinking a little heavy cream, that's one of my favorite things to do. Get a little saturated fat to boost your hormone levels, nothing wrong with that. Brazil nuts, absolutely fantastic, loaded with micronutrients, loaded with minerals. And copper supplementation, yeah, absolutely, you're going in the right direction. And if you want to get the best results with X39 or any of our products, you first start with the basics. Make sure that you're getting proper nutrition. It's okay to cheat every once in a while, have a dessert if you like, or something that's not so healthy. 80% of the time, though, get your healthy food, get adequate amounts of clean, healthy proteins, get your omega-3s, make sure you're getting your vitamins and minerals, supplement where you think there might be some deficiencies. And I definitely recommend that you take a copper supplement. They're very inexpensive, and unlike what you would hear, if you look at the literature, clearly shows up to 10 milligrams per day of copper is non-toxic. Now, I don't recommend taking that much, but certainly 2.5 milligrams of copper glycinate or a copper chelate is perfectly fine. And again, the literature, if you dig into it, clearly supports that. But it's very, very inexpensive and something everybody should do. There's a number of questions here on use of our products to treat disease. We don't make any claims about that. We don't recommend that our products or claim that our products can be used to treat or cure any type of illness or disease. And if you want to use them that way, you have to get permission from a healthcare practitioner. So we don't have any studies about that. And again, if someone has a disorder like cancer, can they use X39? Totally up to their doctor to decide. I'd recommend that you give doctor information on X39 as well as copper peptide, and they can make an informed decision. As a practical matter, I think it's an incredibly exciting area of research. Copper peptide certainly has benefits at supporting immune function, so maybe we'll study that in the future. But certainly as of now, we're not claiming anything, and someone has to speak with their doctor. Okay, we'll wrap up in just another minute. Really appreciate all of your questions. We got a ton of them. Are the patches affected in extreme cold weather? No. You don't have to worry about the extreme. You can even freeze the patches if you want. Don't recommend it, but it's not going to cause it any harm. But what I would say is keep them away from extremes of heat. There's organic materials in the patches, and you don't want to expose those to excessive heat for a long period of time. Okay, are the improvements from X39 permanent, or do I have to continue to use it? You think of it like vitamins. If you're taking B vitamins, those results that you get or the benefits you get are not permanent. You have to, exercise regularly. You have to get sleep, good sleep regularly. So the same would be with the patches. You have to continue using them if you want to continue getting the benefits. Are there any negatives to using the patches? Well, people can detoxify very rapidly. Most people today, well, you could say 100% of the population, and this again is based on clinical research, have foreign matter in their body. This could be heavy metals like aluminum, mercury, lead, could be pesticides, herbicides. We're all walking around with these things because they're in the water, they're in the food and the air that we breathe. So we have to detoxify. When you use any of our patches, they're going to mobilize toxins. And so if you detox too rapidly, which can happen, you may experience a mild headache, fatigue, or nausea. You would simply remove the patches, drink lots of water, and then you could reapply them maybe the next day. So that's what I'd recommend. Okay, sorry that I'm unable to get to the rest of the questions, but that our time is up. Again, I want to thank all of you for being here today. I hope you enjoyed it, and looking forward to talking to you all on next month's product training webinar. So thanks so much, and you have a wonderful evening.